All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Anuja Kumar. The headlines. First meeting of G20 Development Working Group under India's presidency to begin today in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in program commemorating 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo today. Parliament passes Energy Conservation Amendment Bill to promote non-fossil energy sources. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says India can play bridging role in an increasingly divided world around conflicts such as Ukraine. Indian women's hockey team beat Japan 2-1 to enter semi-finals of FIH Nations Cup in Valencia, Spain. And in football, Argentina to clash with Croatia in first semi-final of FIFA World Cup tonight. And now the news in detail. The meeting of the G20 Development Working Group will begin today in Mumbai under India's presidency. India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant said India's vision for the Development Working Group's meeting will be to share India's human-centric sustainable development goals story and its citizen-centric governance. Mr. Kant said during this meeting of the Development Working Group, India will continue to enhance its role as the custodian of the development agenda in G20. He reiterated that India will enhance the voice of the Global South and galvanize consensus for a green development path.
Our objective is to be the voice of the Global South, and we will try and galvanize consensus for a green development pact which we will work on. So our priorities are accelerating progress on achieving the SDG through collective actions here, lifestyle for environment, data for development. And here we will display the cultural heritage, traditions, craft, dance forms and cuisines of Maharashtra, and we will be highlighting India's booming startup landscape here.
Our Mumbai correspondent has filed this report.
The Development Working Group was one of the first of G20's working group to be created post the crisis in 2010 and has produced some major deliverables since then. Today, its meeting in Mumbai will host two-side events on data for development, role of G20 in advancing the 2030 agenda and infusing new life into green development. There will be a plenary session on regenerating legacy system from data to public value intelligence. Models for the future, leveraging Internet of Things, Big Data and Artificial Intelligence for the Sustainable Development Goal and accelerating progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. The three-day meeting will focus on G20's collective actions for accelerating progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. Jeevan Bhavsar, AR News, Mumbai.
The first G20 Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting will also begin today in Bengaluru. More from our correspondent.
The first G20 Finance and Central Bank Deputies meeting and first Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting will begin in Bengaluru today. This will mark the start of discussions on the finance track agenda under Indian G20 presidency. There will be 40 such meetings on finance across the country. Since India has taken over the presidency of G20 Forum, concerted efforts are on to showcase Indian culture, tradition and tourist destinations. The participants of the meet were extended traditional welcome at the Bengaluru airport on arrival. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in a program commemorating Sri Aurobindo's 150th birth anniversary today through video conferencing. The program will be held in Kamban Kalai Sangam, Puducherry, under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. During the program, Mr. Modi will release a commemorative coin and postal stamp in honor of Sri Aurobindo. He will also address the gathering on the occasion. Sri Aurobindo, born on 15th August 1872, was a visionary who made lasting contributions to India's freedom struggle. The Parliament has passed the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022, with Rajya Sabha approving it yesterday. The Lok Sabha has already passed the bill. The bill seeks to amend the Energy Conservation Act 2001. It promotes energy efficiency and conservation. The bill empowers the centre to specify a carbon credit trading scheme. The legislation also stipulates that designated consumers may be required to meet a proportion for their energy needs from non-fossil sources. The Energy Conservation Code for buildings will apply to office and residential buildings with a connected load of 100 kilowatt or above. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel allotted portfolios to the newly inducted ministers in the first cabinet meeting of the newly formed government held in Gandhinagar yesterday evening. The ministers will take charge of their departments today. Mr. Patel was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Gujarat for the second consecutive term yesterday. Along with him, 16 ministers were also sworn in yesterday. Our correspondent reports that the portfolios of most of the ministers who were a part of Bhupendra Patel's first government have been retained. A report.
Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel has kept important portfolios such as General Administration, Home and Police Housing, Revenue and Disaster Management, Urban Development and Urban Housing, Panchayats, Road and Buildings, and Information and Broadcasting with himself. Finance, Energy and Petrochemicals have been given to Kanubai Desai, while Rishikesh Patel has been allotted Health and Family Welfare, Higher and Medical Education, Law and Judiciary. Raghavji Patel will look after Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, while Industry and MSME have been given to Balwant Singh Rajput. Mayurbhai Bera will look after tourism, forest and environment along with climate change, whereas Kuberbhai Dindor has been given tribal development, primary, secondary and adult education. Bhanuben Babaria will look after social justice and empowerment along with women and child welfare. Harsh Sanghvi will be the Minister of State for Homes, while Jagdish Vishwakarma has been given independent charge of cooperation and others. Aparna Khun, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The winter session of Bihar State Legislature will begin today. 5 sittings of the House will be up to December 19. The second supplementary budget of the current financial year will be presented in the House today. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said that India can play a bridging role in an increasingly divided world around conflicts such as Ukraine. Addressing the India Global Forum UAE Summit in Dubai, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted 2 big divides in the world largely impacted by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. One is the East-West divide centering around Ukraine, and the other is a North-South divide centering around development, he said. Analyzing the role countries like India and the UAE can play, Dr. Jaishankar said, it is in our interest to ensure a political process that ends this conflict. India has repeatedly called upon Russia and Ukraine to return to the path of diplomacy and dialogue and end their ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, will attend a ministerial roundtable on globalization of the Indian tech and innovation talent at India Global Forum today. The nation is paying homage to the brave hearts who sacrificed their lives to valiantly defend the parliament against a dastardly terror attack on this day in 2001. At a tribute program in the Parliament House premises, dignitaries will pay floral tributes to the martyrs. President Draupadi Murmu today paid tributes to the martyrs who sacrificed their lives while defending the parliament against terrorist attack in 2001. In a tweet, President Murmu said, the nation pays homage to the valiant martyrs who laid down their lives while defending the parliament against terrorist attack on this day in 2001. She said the nation will always remain grateful to the brave hearts for their courage and supreme sacrifice. On to sports. In the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar, the semi-finals will begin today. In the first match, Argentina will lock horns with Croatia at Lusail Iconic Stadium tonight. The match will begin at 12:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. A report.
The fitness of 34-year-old winger Angel Di Maria will be the biggest question ahead of this match for Argentina. Rodrigo de Paul was also an injury worry, but he proved fit to start. On the other hand, Croatia have no injury worries to speak of heading into this match. Croatia's midfield played defense via possession against Brazil, with Marcelo Brozovic, Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic producing a masterclass. That would be a winning formula against Argentina, as well as they hope to cut off the line-breaking passes that Argentina love to deliver. But Messi's late career evolution into a clever creator operating behind the front line has intensified at this World Cup. He illustrated just how effective he can be with his superb defense-splitting pass to set up the opening goal in the quarter-final against the Netherlands, so Croatia may deploy a marksman behind him. Despite Croatia's tactical masterclass against Brazil in the last round, Argentina are still considered heavy favourites in this semi-final match. With Pratyush Ghosh, Anupam Mishra, Sports Desk.
Tomorrow, in the second semi-final, France will take on Morocco. The final will be played on Sunday. India has qualified for the semi-finals of FIH Hockey Women's Nations Cup in Valencia, Spain. Along with India, Spain has also qualified for the semi-finals. While India pulled out a close 2-1 win over Japan, Spain registered a comfortable 3-0 win over Korea. Both teams qualified for the semi-finals as their 6 points cannot be matched or bettered by two other teams in their pools. In shooting, Tokyo Olympian Manu Bhaker bagged a gold medal in the 10-meter pistol junior women's event at the National Shooting Championship in Bhopal yesterday. The inclusion of yoga is highly beneficial in treating breast cancer patients, according to the Tata Memorial Centre study. Dr. Rajendra Badwe, director of the Tata Memorial Centre, said that the inclusion of yoga resulted in a 15% relative improvement in disease-free survival and 14% in overall survival. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
Breast cancer is the most common cancer affecting women in India and globally. According to the study, yoga practiced with rigor and perseverance has proved its superiority in maintaining an excellent quality of life and has also numerically reduced the risk of recurrence and death by 15%. It is the first study where the long-term benefits in quality of life have been noted with the inclusion of yoga. It is the largest clinical trial and an essential milestone in using yoga in breast cancer, since this is the first example of an Indian traditional remedy being tested in a rigorous Western randomized study design with robust sample size. The yoga intervention was carefully designed with inputs from yoga consultants, clinicians and physiotherapists to suit the needs of breast cancer patients and survivors, keeping in focus the different phases of their treatment and recovery. Shailaja Tule, correspondent, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Finance Ministry has informed that over 37.76 crore loans are disbursed since the inception of the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana in April 2015. It said that the loan amounts to over 20.43 lakh crore rupees as on 25th of November 2022. And now for a look at today's newspapers, it's over to Tanvi Khurana.
Thank you, Anuja. All the dailies have covered about the rising tension on LAC in Arunachal Pradesh on their front page. The Indian Express writes, first time since Galwan, India and China troops clash in Tawang sector. The Pioneer adds, both sides suffered injuries as commanders hold a flag meeting to defuse situation. The dailies have also noticed the silver lining in India's retail inflation. Hindustan Times says, inflation at 11-month low eases to 5.88%. Delhi Police will get its own custom-made drones for maintaining law and order, reports The Hindu. The statesman cites the Union Civil Minister's surprise visit to the Delhi airport amid overcrowding complaints. The Asian Age adds, amid chaos, delays at IGI, peak hour flights to be shifted to decongest T3. And finally, the Times of India on its CSE analysis reports, October-November air cleanest in 8 years, as PM 2.5 down, up by 18% in the national capital. And with that, it's back to you, Anuja.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. First meeting of G20 Development Working Group under India's presidency to begin today in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in program commemorating 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo today. Parliament passes Energy Conservation Amendment Bill to promote non-fossil energy sources. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar says India can play bridging role in an increasingly divided world around conflicts such as Ukraine. Indian women's hockey team beat Japan 2-1 to enter semi-finals of FIH Nations Cup in Valencia, Spain. And in football, Argentina to clash with Croatia in first semi-final of FIFA tonight. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.